Coaches interviews. Today I have with me a familiar face on campus, but new women's basketball coach, Jenna Santi. Jenna, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So, as I mentioned, Jenna is in her first year as new women's head coach. She spent the last couple years as an assistant coach. So, Jenna, how has it felt being in charge of the program this year?
It is different for sure, but what's great is, being able to go to school here, being an assistant here, it kind of feels natural going into this position just because of the role of I know where this program started and to where it's been. I've been part of it, and so now, kind of being the leader of that scenario, it's been just really exciting. Every day something new, and every day I learn more, but it's great to be here.
And as you mentioned, you've gone from player to assistant to head coach, so taking it back a little bit, how did you originally find William Penn?
Right, so I found William Penn playing AAU, and, Coach Brown, he was here years ago, he found me at a tournament in Iowa, and, I came on a visit, I stepped on campus, and we did a big pros and cons list, my family, and this place was the one that, made me feel at home, made me feel like I will fit in, I can be someone, all that stuff, and so I decided to commit here, and then that coach was let go, went through 2 other coaches when I was here, and now I'm in this position. So
having all this experience at the school, I think you've spent 6 years here before you became head coach. Do you think that kind of knowledge of the school, knowledge of the community, all that is going to help you going forward?
Yeah, and what's really cool is there's a lot of ideas I've wanted to do, and I've seen that our program needed to start doing, and so we're starting basketball buddies. We're going to go more with elementary school. We're going to go out and volunteer more. We're just going to be more involved in that way where I always felt we needed to, but every year we got to grow in a certain way, and this year we're going to grow as in the community.
Okay, so you mentioned you've gone through a couple different coaches, and I'm sure you had maybe a few different coaches back when you were playing in high school too. So now that you are a head coach, can you think about anything that you learned from some of those old coaches that you might want to throw into your own coaching philosophy?
Yes, good and bad things I've learned and what I like and what I don't want to do, but something that was always engraved in me is you earn what you get. I mean, since I've been playing since I was my dad was my coach, but that didn't mean he was just going to start me. I had to earn it. Going through high school, I had to fight for my spot. College, I had to fight a lot of adversity and fight for my spot, and so going to be a coach, you still have to you fight for that kind of the recruiting and who you're going to get, and you have to sell the school and all that. So everything you do is you have to earn it. And so now when you get a girl to commit here, you get excited because yes, I went here, but also is because you did what you could and what you knew is competing with others. So definitely just something I learned from others is you get what you earn, and your effort matters the most. And so if you come into work with good effort and good attitude, good things can happen. But if you walk in with not a good head on your shoulders that day, things can go bad. So
I got you. So at what point when you were playing, was there ever a point when you were playing when you just kind of stopped and thought about it and said, I want to coach?
Yeah, so that kind of came to me my sophomore year. I decided to go back home and coach AAU with my dad, and we traveled, and it was awesome. I was his assistant, and the joke of for the couple years was I was always the assistant to someone, right? So I always got that experience, and it was great because those now girls who we coached in 8th grade are now going to college. And now seeing them commit, that also helped me going through that process of being the assistant. I helped them become someone. They learned something from me, and so then just I had a great mentor, Steve, who helped me learn a lot through the years. And so when he brought me up and I was so excited to be his assistant, I learned a lot from him, and so that helped me kind of be in this role.
Did you ever see yourself coaching for your alma mater?
I'm not gonna lie to you. No, I did not, and it was quick. I can tell you that. I didn't think it was gonna happen this quick, but I'm very excited that it did, and it was a blessing in disguise. But definitely, I was probably surprised as anyone in my family when I said, "Hey, this is my opportunity." So.
So when you were playing, you were a point guard, right?
Yep, I was a point guard and a 4-man, so that was the backup.
Sure. So being a point guard, you're kind of seeing the whole court. Do you think that kind of helps you going into coaching because then you kind of know what other people have to do, or is it still kind of a challenge when you're trying to coach people in other positions because maybe you haven't played them before? Or
I don't think so because, as a point guard, you have to know what everyone's doing all the time. So having that point guard mentality is, this might not be, but where the 5-man needs to be, even if it is not 4. So I think just being that, that little floor general assistant coach on the floor helps you coach too because, you know, you had to teach your teammates, hey, this is what we're doing, or you had to
Sure.
remind them. And so that just helps you build yourself as a leader and to teach the game. But you didn't realize when you were playing that you were helping.
Yeah.
And now looking back, it just comes natural.
I get you. Well, so at this point, now we're going to move into some of the harder questions.
All right.
So are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First of all, if you were going to change everything in your house to be one single color, what color would you choose?
In my entire house.
In your entire house, everything has to be one color.
White.
Why white?
Because I want it to be bright and open. I like other colors, but if it's everything's white, first of all, things can't get dirty because everything's white.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, they could, but like,
No.
sure.
They really can't though, because everything's white.
I guess. Okay. Sure.
And you keep it clean. It's bright because like if my walls have to be white, I don't want a dark color. I do like the color black. I like the color navy blue, but I would go white.
Okay.
It's just cheery.
No, for sure. I get you. I think Coach Cummins from women's soccer also said white for kind of the same reasons, and then he gave us a whole lesson about interior design. But
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that way. I just need, you know, bright and happiness and
oh yeah.
keep it simple.
So next up, if you were going to have a movie about you,
Ooh.
who would you choose to star as you?
To star as me.
To star as you.
Ooh, that's tough. I think Mila Kunis. I know we don't look
Interesting.
alike at all, but yeah,
I could see that.
I think she's pretty cool.
I just like to bring up the fact that the first time that we asked that question was to Nick Rule, and Nick Rule thinks that Brad Pitt would be a good comp for himself.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Which of course I can see, but
Duh, right?
you know.
Nick and him, height difference, same.
Oh, nothing at all there. So next up, if Jenna Santi was going to open a restaurant,
Ooh, okay.
what would be the special on the menu?
The special on the menu would be sweet potato nachos. And you
Sweet
can ask
potato
any of
nachos.
my friends. That's what I make them all the time. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
So
They make me do it all the time for them.
so is it just like crispy sweet potatoes in place of chips, or?
It's both, but I don't crisp the sweet potatoes like enough, like the outside is, but I have
Okay.
it thick enough so it's soft, so you do have a potato too. But then also you put a little of the chips in it, so it's more potato than chips. And
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did you come by that?
Honestly, in college, I had leftovers, and I had to get rid of these sweet potatoes in time, and I just shoved it all onto a thing, ate them, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first time I've ever heard of sweet potato nachos, but
That's why it's my specialty.
It sounds intriguing. I
Mhm.
like it.
Mhm.
Last but not least, if you couldn't be around basketball and money wasn't an object, what would you choose to do?
Whew. Money wasn't an object.
Yes. So like basically dream job outside of basketball.
I would like to travel around the states or the country and be like a food/drink critic.
Okay.
Like, I would love to go sit down, you give me something, and I'm like, I'm not a picky eater, so like I'll love everything, but like just to try new things. But if it's like I want to try like expensive things, then I would never think so.
So like a Guy Fieri type, or like a real like write it in a newspaper type critic.
Well, if I was a better writer, for sure in the newspaper, but I think I'd be more good with like the Guy Fieri, all that stuff.
Are you a Guy Fieri fan?
I am. I love cooking shows.
See, like, I know a couple people who might be watching this and might be upset with me for bringing it up, so I'm not going to name names, but are really anti-Guy Fieri people.
Why?
I don't know. I really don't know, but something about him just not cooking or something like that, I think it's just jealousy that he just gets paid to go around and eat on TV.
And that's what I'll do.
I know, it seems
I'll
super
just be
cool.
that person.
It seems super cool to me.
Yeah. Eat for free, travel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else you could want from that,
Right.
but... Well, anyways.
Who's got it going on?
Jenna, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
This has been another edition of the Head Coaches Podcast. Statesman Nation, stay tuned to our YouTube channel for another one next month. And we're going to look forward to seeing what Coach Santi has in store for us this year.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.